You can't tell your partner not to do something if you do it. Meaning, if your partner says, I don't like that, don't do it, then they should follow the same rule. What's
Yes.
the context here?
It's like if you were to tell your wife, like, don't do this because I prefer you wouldn't do it, I don't want you to do it, I think in return, the men should also do the same. Like, say, I don't want you to go out and party on Friday nights. The men should also, like, stay home and not go party on Friday nights. Does that make sense?
So you're looking for reciprocity, basically. Reciprocity and respect.
I guess, in a way.
I think that's fair. Although I kind of want to argue it because, I mean, I think let me just preface this by saying I think going out to bars, clubs, parties is stupid, regardless of your sex or gender or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm introverted. I've done it a bit when I was younger. I just can point out actual reasons why I think it's like stupid and whatever. So I don't think anybody should do it just on that basis. But I think there's a difference because, like, as a guy, you can go out to a bar or club and no girl's going to come and hit on you ever. But as a girl, if you go out to a bar or club, like, there's a fairly high probability, like, you can, like, before you even go out, you can probably, like, anticipate that somebody's going to come and talk to me, you know?
Depends on what you do with that, though. Like, me being in a relationship, I have respect to my boyfriend, you know. We have a mutual respect when we both go out, you know. Mm-hmm. We have boundaries and stuff, and I'll tell a guy off if they come up to me, just out of respect for being in a relationship.
What I'm saying here is I'm not saying that because women get approached, it means that something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Certainly it can be the case. The woman can go out and will never have any sort of temptation or anything will happen ever, although there's a higher likelihood. And in addition to that, even if you have perfectly good intentions, the men that goes to these venues, I don't know what their intentions are. You are potentially putting yourself in a dangerous position. As men, you guys look to us to be leaders and protectors. If you want us to be leaders and protectors, you need to give us authority. We need to be able to have authority in the relationship. And part of this would include safety assessment, risk assessment, going out to bars, clubs, parties. There's a lot of drunk men. Men do stupid or even criminal shit when they're drunk, or even if they're not drunk, these venues can attract demented fucks. And I mean, I don't know, why is it that in these environments, you got to watch your drink. Somebody could put something in your drink. That has nothing to do with your conduct, everything to do with somebody else's conduct. I don't want you in that position to begin with. So if you don't go to the club, you've totally precluded yourself from being in an environment where this sort of crime is likely to happen. In addition to that, I'm trying to think what else. A guy could try to, like, touch you inappropriately. If they're drunk, it happens all the time. That's not your fault. It's never your fault. But I guess I don't mention to go to the bar with their girlfriend, but if you did go to the bar or club with your girlfriend, then she's going to be like, look to you to do something about it. Then you end up in a street fight. Something happens to the guy. Something happens to you. You got into a very dumb fucking situation because your girl wanted to dance. Fuck that shit. If you're in a relationship, you don't take your girl to the club, you don't take your girl to the bar, it's going to be a problem eventually.
Can I respond to that?
Sure.
So I think there's a couple of points that need to be factored into that decision. You mentioned at the beginning that you're an introvert. You don't like going out to those kinds of places. Yeah. And so I would encourage you to find a partner that is similar. I've kind of been in this situation where, I'm married. My husband has opinions about certain things. One of them is that he's not comfortable with me traveling outside of the country without him. And it's to a place that I have been before. And this has been a topic of ongoing discussion in our marriage. And while I can have empathy for the position that, he doesn't want me put in that position. It also kind of discredits where I'm coming from, in that I have a very strong intuition. I think all women kind of have that feeling when you know that you shouldn't be anywhere anymore. And that's not to discredit that there are stupid people, drunk people do dumb things and they can expose you indecently. But that's the same thing as saying, like, if me getting in my car every day, there's the potential that a drunk driver is going to also get in their car and hit me. So should I not drive anymore because there's drunk drivers?
Isn't there a matter there of respect, though?
There is a matter of respect, and that's why it's an ongoing conversation.
Well, hang on. Let me just make the case, and then you can respond. I would think that there would be a matter of respect there. So you as the wife of your husband, you are an extension, a representation in a way of him and him of you, right? So you, just even for appearance purposes, if you're traveling out of the country and things like that, I could see where a man could see that as being disrespectful if you wanted to go without him. And that kind of makes sense, right?
Just the fact that I'm going without him?
No. It's not the fact that you're going without him. It's the idea that, so he'll probably frame it like, well, I don't trust other men, right? It's not you. It's not that I don't trust you. It's that I don't trust other men who are around, something like that. Is that more akin to the type of conversation you're having?
Yeah, and also the distance is a fearful position. It's like farther, more difficult to get to me in the event that there is an accident. Or something.
So I'll break this down the best that I can, at least, because I've heard this kind of go back and forth so many times. It's not really a matter of him not trusting you or not even trusting other men. It's a matter of him wanting to show respect to him. And so from his position, it's very likely that he thinks the most respectful thing that you could do is never put him in a position where he'd have to tell you not to do that in the first place.
If I have been transparent about my desire to travel prior to our relationship turning to a marriage, is that something that,
Yeah, I mean, even then, right? It's like the idea for men, right? The subservience, respect from the woman is extremely important. And it seems that if a woman would want to go out, for instance, like with her friends to a nightclub or something like that, I think you could trust her just fine. I just think that they find it to be highly disrespectful. Just like if they were, perhaps walking down the street and holding hands with a woman, you would be very upset by that, even if they meant nothing by that. I don't know exactly how they wouldn't, but the point stands, right? It's like there's a different metric for what is considered respectful or disrespectful. And if you're married and you go out of country without your husband, for the purpose, you know what I mean? There's he says distance, he says this, he says that, but he probably just feels like it's disrespectful.
I can respect that position.
Yeah.
But so going back to this, I don't know. In any case, Sina, I think your point was just like both people should uphold it. Yeah. And I think what I was kind of maybe rambling a little bit, but I think the point I was trying to make is that there's kind of differences. I agree with you that, like, I would probably not date a girl who is interested in raving and partying and going to the club anyways. But I do think it's actually a good standard for a lot of men that perhaps that this sort of people who participate in this sort of stuff might not be the most relationship-minded person, because when it comes down to it, I do genuinely think that in terms of the differential here and the asymmetry, a woman who goes out to a bar and a club is a bigger liability to the relationship than the reverse.
That's probably one of the only things I disagree with you on, just because of being in a long distance relationship. We have to build that trust with each other, and we both tell each other everything when we're going out, who we're going out with. Mm-hmm. And I strictly, we both strictly go out to hang out with our friends, and we're both very conscious of who we go out with too. Mm-hmm. Like I go out with my girlfriends that I know are gonna stand up for me no matter what.
Wait, what part do you disagree with though? it being a bigger liability for the woman to go out. I think it's a liability for both people to go out, but
not necessarily.
So the disagreement is like precluding your partner from going out. Is that the disagreement? Or
I mean, if your partner had, different, like if my boyfriend were like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with you going to this place with these people, I would respect that. And
how about period? I don't feel comfortable you going out to any bars, clubs, etc. Period.
Oh yeah, then I would totally respect him.
Okay, so what's the disagreement?
Like how you were saying, like that basically, like if a girl goes out to a bar, that's disrespectful. Is that what you were?
You said she's a liability to the relationship.
Yeah,
more of a liability.
It's a bigger liability than the reverse, because here's why.
I mean, yeah.
To the relationship?
It's a bigger liability because one of, I think, the hypergamous nature of women, like women are much more likely to like potentially like you guys will trade up if the opportunity presents itself, and like this presents an opportunity for that. Actually, that's a terrible argument. Let me retract that. The main issue is that when it comes to